Funding for this program has been provided by Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation, and by the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Foods Council, reminding you that Iowa is the soy food capital of the world. More information is available at thesoyfoodscouncil.com.
Worldwide, 1 billion people suffer from hunger. Aid workers try to stem the tide of need, and scientists strive to improve crops in hard-to-grow regions. Tonight, live from the Iowa Capitol in Des Moines, the 19th annual World Food Prize honors those who've contributed to improving the quality and availability of food. Good evening. I'm Lorenzo Samovao, and welcome to Iowa Public Television's coverage of the World Food Prize Awards ceremony. Now, this is an event that organizers compare to the Nobel Peace Prize, only this one solely focuses on food issues. Tonight, more than 600 guests from more than 60 countries have gathered in the Iowa House of Representatives, to honor the achievements of an individual from India for his work to expand fish farming in parts of Asia and Africa. But before he is presented his award, there will be a program to honor all who work toward alleviating hunger. Well, the ceremony is about to begin. The ceremony is about to begin with the herald trumpeters. There'll be a brief welcome and then a videotaped story of the World Food Prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2005 World Food Prize Laureate Award Ceremony.
The story of the World Food Prize revolves around the vision and generosity of two men, Dr. Norman E. Borlaug and John Ruan, both of whom began life in 1914 in small towns in the U.S. state of Iowa. Dr. Borlaug's distinguished scientific career led him to extraordinary achievements in increasing wheat yields. And in 1970, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his role as the father of the Green Revolution, which prevented severe food shortages and famine in many parts of the world. Since the Nobel Foundation has no prize for food or agriculture, Dr. Borlaug envisioned an award like the Nobel Prize to honor individuals who are confronting the critical issues of food security and poverty alleviation. And thus, in 1986, the World Food Prize was born. The prize was first awarded in 1987 to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan for his critical role in spreading the Green Revolution in India through the introduction of high-yielding wheat and rice. Since then, laureates have been recognized from a wide array of countries. Their accomplishments, a diverse array of breakthrough achievements, include the development of miracle rice in the Philippines, doubling the world's rice production, the establishment of microcredit enterprises in Bangladesh that enabled women to rise out of poverty, the development of high-protein maize in Mexico to counter chronic malnutrition in children, the eradication of cattle plague and crop pestilence in Africa, and implementing the policy framework which moved China towards self-sufficiency in basic food. The World Food Prize sees itself as a partner in the great global effort articulated by the leaders of the world during the United Nations Millennium Summit to eliminate the contrast between abundance and want, and to turn poverty into prosperity, sorrow into joy, and pain into promise.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming our distinguished guests. Representing the past World Food Prize laureates, from the United States, the 1991 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Nevin Scrimshaw. From Switzerland, the 1995 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Hans Herren. From India, the 1998 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. B.R. Barwali. The Millennium World Food Prize laureates, from Mexico, Dr. Evangelica Vallejos. And from India, Dr. Surinder K. Vassal. From Denmark, the 2001 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Per Pinstrup Andersen. Born in Cuba, from the United States of America, the 2002 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Pedro Sanchez. Representing the United Nations, from the United States, the 2003 World Food Prize laureate, the Honorable Catherine Bertini. Representing the state of Iowa, from the Iowa House of Representatives, Majority Leader Chuck Gipp. And Minority Leader Pat Murphy. From the Iowa Senate, Co-President Jack Kibbe. And Republican Floor Leader Stuart Iverson. The Lieutenant Governor of Iowa, the Honorable Sally Peterson. Distinguished national and international guests, the Ambassador of Mali, His Excellency Abdoulaye Diop. The Ambassador of Ethiopia, His Excellency Kassahun Aile. The Ambassador of Senegal, His Excellency Amadou Ba. The Ambassador of Namibia, His Excellency Hopelong Ipinge. The Ambassador of India, His Excellency Ranendra Sen. Presiding at tonight's ceremony, the Governor of Iowa, the Honorable Tom Vilsack, and First Lady Christy Vilsack. The father of the Green Revolution and one of the founders of the World Food Prize, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Dr. Norman E. Borlaug.
Dr. Borlaug, as noted in the videotape story a few moments ago, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 for his work to help solve wheat production
The chairman
problems.
of the World Food Prize Foundation, John Ruan III, and the president of the World Food Prize Foundation, Ambassador Kenneth M. Quinn, escorting this evening's special guest of honor, the 2005 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. Modadugu Gupta of India. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of the World Food Prize Foundation, Ambassador Kenneth M. Quinn.
Well, from India to Iowa, welcome to the World Food Prize Laureate Award Ceremony. Governor Vilsack, leaders of the legislature, we are so grateful to you for letting us be here in our magnificent state capitol. This lends so much prestige to our award to be in one of the most beautiful buildings in America. This has been a very special week for the World Food Prize. We have an International Symposium on Nutrition, and tonight we present the $250,000 World Food Prize to an exceptional individual from India who has enhanced nutrition for over 1 million families. Now, it may seem unusual that we be here in the Iowa State Capitol to honor somebody from India, but in fact, there's a special Iowa-India connection that goes back more than 75 years. In 1929, when Mahatma Gandhi began his quest to achieve Indian independence, he sought information about how he could enhance the nutrition of his vegetarian diet in order to maintain the strength for his historic endeavor. And as a result, he reached out through a friend to one of Iowa's greatest heroes, the renowned scientist George Washington Carver, the former slave who graduated from Iowa State University and went on to a distinguished scientific career. And on February 24th, 1929, Dr. Borlaug, you were just 15 years old then, I think. Dr. Carver wrote suggesting that Mahatma Gandhi have a diet that included whole wheat flour, grits, hominy, a peanut emulsion, and soybeans. And their correspondence continued, and their relationship deepened. And 6 years later, George Washington Carver wrote to my beloved friend, Mr. Gandhi. And he ended his letter by writing, "May God bless you, keep and direct you in this marvelous work you are doing." And their personal correspondence forms a deeply meaningful foundation for an ongoing relationship between one of the great countries and cultures of the world and one of the great food-producing states in America. And that relation was further strengthened by the genuine partnership that Dr. Borlaug had with Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, the first World Food Prize laureate, in bringing life-saving agricultural transformation to India. And since then, 4 other Indian laureates have received the World Food Prize, further strengthening this bond. And tonight, we take another step in building that relationship by honoring our 2005 World Food Prize laureate. Now, for any of you who have been to or watched the Nobel Awards in Oslo or Stockholm, you know the ceremony can't go forward unless there's a royal proclamation. Well, we don't have a royal proclamation, but we are so honored to have tonight the Honorable Tom Vilsack, the Governor of Iowa, to welcome you and issue the laureate proclamation. Governor Vilsack.
Dr. Gupta. Welcome to the great state of Iowa, and to all who are assembled here, welcome. This is a magnificent capital on a magnificent day in a magnificent state. And Mother Nature has treated us well today. But the reality is that we are surrounded with news of circumstances and situations where perhaps Mother Nature has not been as kind to those in faraway places. Today, our thoughts and prayers and hearts are with those who deal with tragedy. There is something as great and as powerful as Mother Nature, and that is the creative and innovative spirit of humankind. And that's really what the World Food Prize recognizes. That innovation, that creativity that tries to respond to some of the world's greatest challenges. Today, we honor a man who is a humble man about his work, recognizing the importance of enlarging and expanding opportunities for people all over the world to have more nutritious and healthy diets. Dr. Gupta has focused on fish and the development of fish farms. And as a result, his work has literally meant salvation and hope and opportunity for millions. It is indeed an honor, sir, for us to host you tonight and for me to issue a proclamation in your honor. The proclamation acknowledges the work of Dr. Borlaug and the vision that he had in establishing the World Food Prize. It recognizes the philanthropic nature of the Ruan family in helping to provide the resources that created the World Food Prize. It acknowledges the work of the Iowa legislature and the people of Iowa in supporting the World Food Prize. And it indeed reflects and acknowledges the presence of all who are here tonight. It goes on to talk about Dr. Gupta, and it says that he has worked with great dedication over several decades to enhance the nutrition of over 1 million very poor families through the expansion of aquaculture and fish farming. It notes that his achievements have impacted the lives and well-being of over 7 million people in India, in Bangladesh, Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. It indicates that the results of his research and practical experience are now being shared with experts and organizations in Africa to promote improved nutrition and health for millions of other poor people around the world. And as a result of all of that work and the impact it has had on humankind, his accomplishments have been judged to merit this recognition as a person whose life work has helped to ensure nutrition for all of humanity. Doctor, as the governor of this state, it is my privilege and honor to proclaim you as the World Food Prize Laureate for 2005.
Thank you, Governor Vilsack. I always have to wipe a little sweat from my brow at that moment, because if we don't have the proclamation, I can't continue. So we're so grateful for you and the First Lady being here to us with that. Now, the World Food Prize happens right on or around World Food Day, October the 16th. And World Food Day is celebrated around the globe, and in New York and Rome and other locations, diplomats and government officials will come together. But I would suggest that perhaps, just perhaps, this is the most significant observance of World Food Day, as we have representatives of more than 63 countries here in this chamber. And there is without doubt gathered here more life-saving achievement than at any other World Food Day celebration anywhere around the world. I guess, Dr. Borlaug, that would probably be true if you were just here by yourself as well, but... Yeah. But we have here in the audience scientists and policymakers and people who have made incredible breakthroughs and World Food Prize laureates and the amazing things that they have accomplished. And we have an array of distinguished delegations and visitors who are here. We are so honored to have group of African ambassadors who are here, you met earlier, and other diplomats to be here with us tonight. with the Partnership to Cut Poverty and Hunger in Africa. And we're equally pleased to be joined by scientists and business leaders brought here by Chemin Industries, have their scientific meeting here, Pioneer Hybrid International, Monsanto, Cargill, the Board of International Food and Agricultural Development, the United Soybean Board, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has 30 of its top scientists here, and the UN Standing Committee on Nutrition. And in the balcony here, there are over 100 government officials from countries around the globe, guests of the U.S. Grains Council and the Iowa and Nebraska Corn Promotion Board here for the Biotechnology Information Seminar. Please join me in welcoming everybody who's here. With people from so many places and so many backgrounds, there is one thing that unifies every person here tonight, and that is a shared commitment to reduce suffering from hunger and malnutrition. It's therefore most appropriate that we continue our celebration with a reminder of that cause, and at the same time further accentuates the bond between India and Iowa. This time I'd like to introduce Representative Swati Dandekar, an elected member of the Iowa House of Representatives that meets in this chamber and among the most significant political leaders of Indian ancestry in all of America.
Good evening. I'm going to read a poem called In Any Language, composed by Lucille Morgan Wilson. In any language, hunger is an ugly word. There is no music in hunger. The rumble of empty stomachs, the monotonous whine of a child, wasted with disease, the moan of the mother whose baby lies bloated and still in her arms. Hunger is the listless din of apathy, bred of weakness, the faded brown and gray of dead leaves after autumn has ebbed. Thank you.
That poem that Representative Dandekar has just read with very great emotion was written by Lucille Wilson, who is one of the leaders of Hunger Hike. And last Sunday, I was with her as Hunger Hike took part in raising money to reach out to hungry people. The struggle against hunger was, however, diminished in 2005 by the loss of 2 members of the World Food Prize family who were on the front lines, struggle against hunger throughout their entire lives. Dr. Robert Havener was present at the creation of the World Food Prize, working in partnership with Dr. Borlaug, with Al Closey, in establishing the prize in 1986. And in the 19 years following that, as a member of the Council of Advisors, Bob nurtured the prize carefully, built it up each year, sometimes serving as the master of ceremonies in this very chamber. But his greatest joy and contributions came working out in the field, developing new ways to produce more food, leading 4 separate international research institutions. And together, all of these experiences provide him a legacy that will be difficult to replicate. And shortly after Bob's passing, we were saddened again by the death of the 1990 World Food Prize laureate, Dr. John Niederhauser, known affectionately to all who knew him as Dr. Potato. His scientific achievements in helping eradicate late blight disease, the same scourge that brought about the Irish potato famine in the 1840s, was matched perhaps only by his gregarious personality and his love of teaching the next generation. And Dr. Niederhauser was a constant presence at the World Food Prize Symposia, and he never missed being on the faculty at our Youth Institute. Both of these men will be deeply missed. We are pleased that Liz Havener and her family are able to be here tonight. And as a special tribute to Bob Havener and John Niederhauser's work and their commitment to inspiring young scientific prodigies of the next generation, we offer you a musical performance by a young musical prodigy, the magnificence of which will reflect the magnificence of their legacies. Here is Alex Pryor.
Alex Pryor is a 13-year-old tenor who lives in London. He has often been referred to as the Little Pavarotti. In addition to singing, he also plays 5 instruments and has written symphonies.
Alex, that was magnificent. Alex Pryor is an example of the excellence that can be attained by youth, and this 13-year-old from Britain has been called the Little Pavarotti and has performed in such acclaimed venues as Carnegie Hall, the Kremlin, London's Royal Opera House, and now the World Food Prize at the Iowa State Capitol. One of the great dreams that Bob Havener and Dr. Borlaug and John Ruan shared was to instill a passion for science and a concern for global food security in future generations. And so 11 years ago, they created the World Food Prize Youth Institute to bring high school students in touch with world-renowned laureates.
A logical outgrowth of the World Food Prize, the Youth Institute was established in 1994 by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Dr. Norman E. Borlaug, father of the Green Revolution, and businessman and philanthropist John Ruan. In October of each year, the Youth Institute provides a 3-day, all-expenses-paid educational opportunity and forum for high school-age students. Enrolled students interact with Nobel and World Food Prize laureates and are exposed firsthand to an array of experts, facilities, and organizations relating to food security. Each participating school designates one student and one faculty member to attend the Institute, which occurs in conjunction with the annual World Food Prize activities in Des Moines, Iowa. Student and faculty teams are responsible for preparation of a discussion paper, which is presented by the student before a panel of World Food Prize laureates and members of the Council of Advisors. Discussion, interaction, and presentations by guests and officials enhance the intellectual experience. Youth Institute participants are then eligible to be selected for World Food Prize international internships. These 8-week summer experiences offer the opportunity for students to serve around the world at prestigious international research centers in countries such as the Philippines, Peru, Mexico, India, Kenya, and Indonesia.
Now, in the first year of the Youth Institute, there were only 13 students in attendance. 11 years later, we have nearly 200 students and teachers here participating. And they come from high schools all over Iowa, as well as Kansas, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and also students have come from Brazil, Canada, the Netherlands, and Nigeria to participate. And they're all here in the chamber tonight with their teachers, and I'd like to ask you to join me in recognizing our Youth Institute participants here in the balcony. Sitting up there somewhere are 13 students who are going to spend 8 weeks next summer as Borlaug Ruan interns, working at a renowned international research center in Asia, Africa, or Latin America. And each year, the World Food Prize proudly recognizes the 2 most outstanding Borlaug Ruan interns with the John Crystal and Amundsen Intern Awards. And here to present those awards is Pulitzer Prize winner and World Food Prize Council of Advisor member Michael Gartner and Mrs. Janice Ruan.
Penny Fang of Ames fulfilled her summer research project, which best reflects Mrs. Roberta Green Amundsen's commitment to increasing awareness of food security in the world. Penny completed her 2004 summer internship at the International Rice Research Institute in Los Banos, Philippines. During her 8-week internship, Penny focused on a 2-part laboratory project dealing with drought resistance in rice plants. She also volunteered each week as a teacher at a children's feeding center for poor families and assisted during several outreach medical missions. Please welcome the recipient of the 2005 Amundsen Intern Award, Penny Fang. Ann Languth of Iowa City is the 2004 Borlaug Ruan intern whose research has been judged to best reflect the commitment and the interest of Mr. Crystal that he had in international understanding and solving pressing world food problems. Ann performed her Borlaug Ruan internship at Peking University in Beijing, China, where her research contributed importantly to the China Rice Functional Genomics program. She successfully executed many sophisticated lab procedures which deal with DNA insertion and analysis, and perfected her skills for phenotype observation in mutant rice plants. Please welcome the recipient of the John Crystal Intern Award for 2005, Ann Languth.
It's always my pleasure to tell the winner of the John Crystal Award a little bit about John Crystal. The rest of you may listen if you like. John Crystal was a banker and a farmer and an economist. He was a great citizen of this state and of the world. He was also a grumpy old man with, of all things, an infectious giggle. He was a little eccentric. He lived all his life in the same house, in the house where he was born, just outside of Coon Rapids. He had driven from that house into town so often that he told me once he figured he could do it blindfolded. So he tried. Fortunately, he backed into the ditch in his driveway before he got out to the road, and he had to call a tow truck to rescue him. He had strong beliefs, and fortunately for all of us and for the whole world, these were his beliefs. He believed in freedom, he believed in agriculture, and he believed in the world. Like his uncle before him, Roswell Garst, John worked all his life to bring American agricultural processes and methods to far corners of the world, especially to Russia, with the idea that prosperity leads to peace. He was evangelical in that belief. He was my friend, and he is my hero. I'm sorry you never knew him as a friend, but I hope you'll come to see him as a hero. Now, I noticed the two of you are going off to Harvard, which we here refer to as the Iowa State University of the East. And everyone in this great room wishes you well. We're proud of you. We know you'll learn much. We assume you'll go off to see and help the world. But all of us hope three other things. We hope you'll embrace the beliefs and the passions of John Crystal. We hope you'll ultimately come back to Iowa. And we hope you'll never try to drive blindfolded.
This week, India has truly come to Iowa. Last night, there was a special IMAX film, Mystic India, at the Science Center of Iowa. Today, the Wells Fargo World Food Festival with lots of Indian food starts right here in Des Moines in the East Village. And tomorrow, there'll be the inauguration of the Year of India at the Des Moines Area Community College. But tonight, we have the ceremony that's the centerpiece of this celebration. And to set the cultural context, please welcome a group, traditional Indian music and dance ensemble, who have come to Iowa all the way from India. Welcome Kathak Gunjan.
प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं गौरीपुत्रं विनायकं भक्तावासं स्मरे नित्यम् आयुः भक्तावासं स्मरे नित्यम् आयुकामार्थ सिद्धये आयुकामार्थ सिद्धये.
Now, there's one other way that India has come to Iowa this week, and that is the great privilege we have to have received the Ambassador of India to the United States of America, His Excellency Ronan Sen. Mr. Ambassador, it's a great privilege to have you here with us tonight and to know that you have brought a special message from the Prime Minister of India. Please join me in welcoming Ambassador Ronan Sen.
Thank you. Good evening. Mr. Governor, Mrs. Wislak, Dr. Borlaug, distinguished guests, my colleagues from Africa, fellow ambassadors. It's a special occasion for me, a really special occasion. And on this first visit to Iowa, I know why Des Moines and Iowa is referred to as the hub of hospitality, because the first thing which we felt over here was the tremendous warmth of the hospitality of the people, for which we are grateful. And on this occasion, I feel also proud that we have with us the sixth Indian to get this very prestigious award, the World Food Prize Award. And I congratulate Mr. Gupta for receiving this award and joining the select band of those who have received this award. I would also like to extend my gratitude to through the governor and the members of the legislative assembly over here for all that Iowa has done for India, not only nourishing Mahatma Gandhi, as Ambassador Quinn had pointed out, and giving him the energy to lead what was the biggest freedom struggle in history, but also begin it in South Africa. And therefore, we in India did not regard our freedom as complete as long as there was apartheid in South Africa until Namibia, whose ambassador is here, did not become free. And I was happy to be on that glorious day in Windhoek when Namibia became free. But freedom from hunger, we still got a long way to go. And I have a special word of thanks to the people of Iowa for giving us Dr. Norman Borlaug, who is actually, he's a legend in India. And his contribution has been on a scale which is very difficult to imagine. It's literally affected hundreds of millions of people and changed their lives. And today, just in July, when our Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, was here, he and the President of the United States launched a new initiative, US-India initiative in the field of agricultural research. So we look forward to a new phase of our relations, new guidance we hope to get from Dr. Borlaug and his distinguished colleagues, and avail of the expertise and talent in this great state of Iowa as we rejuvenate our agriculture research and give it more of commercial content. I have the honor now to read out to you a message which was sent to Dr. Gupta for receiving this award. This message is from the Prime Minister of India, and I read it to you. He says, "I'm happy to learn that the World Food Prize Foundation has selected Dr. M.V. Gupta to receive the prestigious World Food Prize for the year 2005. To be chosen for this award is recognition of outstanding achievement. The pioneering work done by Dr. Gupta in the field of low-cost and accessible aquaculture technologies is indeed remarkable and path-bearing. His work has benefited millions in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Africa. The green and white revolutions in India have brought about a transformation in our rural landscape. We recognize the need to build on these achievements. During my visit to the United States in July this year, President Bush and I agreed on an agricultural initiative aimed at facilitating cooperation to build on the achievements of the Green Revolution. I would like to convey my warm congratulations to Dr. Gupta and convey my appreciation to the organizers of the World Food Prize International Symposium for their collective efforts in eradicating world hunger and poverty. Signed, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister of India. And I would like to point out also that Dr. Manmohan Singh also comes from a farming family. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ambassador, thank you again for bringing us that wonderful message from Prime Minister Singh. Well, you've heard Dr. Gupta's accomplishments described. Now we want you to see them for yourself.
In its first 2 decades, the World Food Prize was, on 5 occasions, awarded to individuals from India. Each of these remarkable laureates contributed greatly to the struggle against world hunger and in spreading the Green Revolution. In 2005, yet another Indian citizen is being honored, this time for his role in a new Blue Revolution. The 2005 World Food Prize laureate was born in the small town of Bapatla, near the Bay of Bengal. Taken to the sea by his father around the age of 8, young Modadugu Gupta recalls seeing firsthand the plight of poor Indian fishermen. But even though they had little, he saw that they were often able to sustain themselves by the day's catch. This experience instilled in him the inspiration for what would ultimately become his life's work. After completing his primary education in Bapatla, our laureate went on to earn a General Sciences diploma from Andhra University. He then enrolled at Banaras Hindu University, where he received a master's degree in zoology before going on to receive his doctorate from the University of Calcutta. Beginning his professional career in 1962 with the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, his focus shifted to introducing freshwater aquaculture, the farming of fish, in rural areas. Remembering his boyhood trip to the sea, Dr. Gupta worked tirelessly to increase fish harvests among destitute inland farmers. First, he demonstrated that those who had little or no capital could still raise and support fish in small ponds by recycling rice husks and weeds into feed. He also showed farmers how to utilize farmyard waste products, allowing them to raise fish and poultry side by side on a small family farm. As our laureate's techniques spread, the average annual fish production in India began to increase, eventually rising from barely 0.5 tons per hectare to between 2 to 10 tons per hectare. Dr. Gupta's success soon became known outside of India, beginning what would become a several decades-long association with the World Fish Center, headquartered in Malaysia. Our laureate took his low-cost approach to Southeast Asia, where he also identified several carp species native to India as being well adapted to the Mekong River environment. By training farmers and scientists in Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia to breed and support these new species, the 2005 World Food Prize laureate was instrumental in increasing fish yields and rural incomes. It was during this period that Dr. Gupta promoted the polyculture technique, in which multiple species of fish with complementary feeding habits are raised in one pond. This scientifically structured commingling of several breeds of fish rapidly produced larger fish harvests with higher nutritional value. Again, his innovations paid off. And today, the carp varieties he introduced in Vietnam make up 30 to 40% of all freshwater fish production in that country. But perhaps our laureate's most dramatic achievement came in Bangladesh. When he began work there, the child malnutrition rate was among the highest in the world. Over 80% of the population lived in flood-prone areas with high levels of poverty. Up to this time, capturing fish was a time-consuming activity, producing little economic gain. But our laureate saw that unused ponds, roadside canals and ditches, and seasonally flooded pools that were at the time untapped by fish producers could become a potential source of fish production and nutrition for the poor and landless. Working first with small groups of farmers and families in individual rural villages, Dr. Gupta demonstrated his techniques for utilizing these water sources and raising the fish he selected, which could grow and multiply in just a few months' time. By educating bankers about aquaculture, Dr. Gupta convinced some rural banks to lend the necessary money for poor farmers to buy baby fish, or fingerlings, to start their own production. As word of this success began to spread, Dr. Gupta's work produced an amazing side effect. Prior to the involvement of the 2005 World Food Prize laureate, the participation of Bangladeshi women in fishing was virtually non-existent. But in partnership with non-governmental organizations, Dr. Gupta began training programs that were soon overrun with women eager to be taught his new techniques.
We started with a few women, but when they came to know what we have been doing, we got requests from so many that they want to participate in our activities. They are able to add income, additional income to the families, and able to get fish, which is an important protein source to the families in Bangladesh, and also giving a status for the woman in the household as an earning member.
Thanks to the teachings of Dr. Gupta and his NGO partners, nearly 65% of all those engaged in rural aquaculture activities in Bangladesh are women, and the results have been remarkable. Over 1 million bodies of water in Bangladesh, which were underutilized before our laureate's intervention, are now blooming with fish. Fish yields in Bangladesh increased from 304 kilograms per hectare to over 2,500 kilograms per hectare in less than a year, and continued to grow by 300% during the 1990s. As a result of the 2005 World Food Prize laureates' research and outreach, some of Asia's poorest fish farmers can now provide nutrition for their families with enough fish left to bring in added income. In addition to our laureate's accomplishments with rural fish farmers, he has also served as an inspiration and guide to the next generation of scientists conducting fisheries research. Through his role at the World Fish Center and the International Network on Genetics in Aquaculture, Dr. Gupta has worked tirelessly to spread his technologies and innovations across Asia. He has trained hundreds of scientists from developing countries in sustaining effective fish production strategies and has been at the forefront in developing new biosafety protection protocols and introducing genetically enhanced fish. In the Philippines, one genetically improved strain of tilapia fish now accounts for 1/4 of the annual tilapia market after only 5 years. But Dr. Gupta's work is far from finished, as he is currently spreading his techniques to rural farmers in African countries such as Cameroon, Egypt, Malawi, Mozambique, and Zambia. And so, 35 years after World Food Prize founder Dr. Norman Borlaug, a son of Iowa, was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize for spreading the Green Revolution to India, it is most fitting that a son of India, who has brought the promise of a blue revolution to the world, is honored in Iowa. For his role in empowering women, for his dedicated efforts in developing fish farming techniques throughout Asia, for his ongoing role in spreading these breakthrough achievements to Africa, and for his selfless and tireless lifetime commitment to uplifting the poorest of the poor, enhancing nutrition for over 1 million impoverished families. Dr. Modadugu Gupta of India is truly deserving to be honored as the 2005 World Food Prize laureate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2005 World Food Prize laureate.
Dr. Gupta of India traveled to the World Food Prize with his wife. She and 9 other family members are in the audience tonight. The family members include a brother, 2 sons, a sister, brother-in-law, a daughter-in-law, 2 nieces, and a nephew.
At this time, John Ruan III and Dr. Norman E. Borlaug will present the World Food Prize sculpture by renowned artist Saul Bass to the 2005 laureate in honor of his great contributions to humankind.
Our laureate to say a few words.
First of all, I would like to thank the World Food Prize Foundation for selecting me for this prestigious award. I consider this as a recognition of the importance of fish in the nutritional security of the poor people in the developing countries. I would like to thank Father of the Green Revolution and Nobel laureate Dr. Norman Borlaug and Chair of the Foundation, Mr. John Ruan, Senior and John Ruan III, for bringing to the attention of the world and its leaders, through establishment of this award, the importance of agriculture in eliminating poverty and hunger. I am indebted to all the government officials, the scientists, NGOs, farming communities in a number of countries where I worked, who provided encouragement, support, and assistance. Without their support, probably I would not have reached this stage, or I would not have been able to do what I have done. I thank them again once of all. I would like to thank the management, board of trustees, and colleagues at the World Fish Center, where I served and worked in different capacity for 15 years. I also would like to thank all the donors who provided funding to the World Fish Center for the excellent work it has done. And I would like to specially mention few donors who funded the activities that I undertook in the last 30 years. I would like to thank the government of Netherlands who provided the funding of my work in Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam, to the government of United States of America for the work I did in Bangladesh, for the government of Norway, UNDP, and Asian Development Bank for the genetic research and networking. Though I am saying last, and I should have said the first, it is the support I received from my wife of 40 years, Padma, who is here, and my children and my family who kept me going. I very much appreciate the patience in bearing my long absences from the family in the field and on travel, and paying very little attention to my family. Without their support, I think I would not have achieved what I have done. I'm very grateful to my family for all the support they have provided over the years. Thank you all.
Dr. Gupta, there is one final tribute that's a tradition at the World Food Prize, and we'd like to invite your wife and family to come up here with you to share this moment with you. And please, that's it. Come up and come to this side and squeeze over. It's the tribute, the final tribute to the laureates, is a song. And the song that we have tonight that Alex Pryor is going to sing is entitled "A Soldier in Love." Now, I know that may seem at first questionable as to why we'd have that song, but Dr. Gupta, you have been a soldier in the army struggling against hunger for the past decades. And your love for the poorest of the poor is evident in everything you do. And so, Dr. Gupta, this song is for you.
Sis
And with that beautiful performance by 13-year-old Alex Pryor from London, the 19th annual World Food Prize ceremony come to a close. This has been an evening of entertainment, reflection, and a message of hope from all who work together to fight hunger. From the World Food Prize ceremony at the state capitol, I'm Lorenzo Sandoval. Thank you for joining us this evening. Good night.
Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you.
Funding for this program has been provided by Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation, and by the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Foods Council, reminding you that Iowa is the soy food capital of the world. More information is available at thesoyfoodscouncil.com.